Sam, it's Hartman. Be advised that chiral density in regions predisposed to strandings has increased dramatically. No doubt the beach is to blame.
Well, hello, Sam. Thank you very much. I've been waiting for this a long time. Do you know what this is, Sam? I'm very excited about this. Finally! In the year 2030, Death Stranding is finally free from the Epic Game Store! But the question is, should you play it? Okay, so you said it's going to be different. Like, is there anything I should know in advance about this review?
Not really. I want this review really be different. Let's make ourselves comfortable. Okay, this is better. This is a lot better.
Hey, cheers.
So Caleb, you don't know Death Stranding, and maybe you guys don't know it. Maybe you saw some reviews, and most of these reviews are maybe after a few hours of gameplay. But I feel like this review needs some time, and it took me nearly 50 hours to finish this game, and I think now I'm finally ready to review it.
So this is like an ultimate review.
This is a review that should be done to all games, and sometimes we don't have a time to play it till the end.
It's true.
But now, this is a review after finishing the game, to actually finishing. But
so you must, spoiler alert, you must have liked it.
Well, funny you ask, because I think first 5 to 10 hours, I wasn't sure if I liked the game because it was quite confusing.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have any gun to shoot with. The world was very strange. The story was even stranger.
Mm-hmm.
What kept me going is that the visual is pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And I know Kojima. Kojima is the director of this game and Metal Gear Solid series, and I know that these games are worth. So that kept me going. And in about 12 hours, I still didn't know what is going on, but I finally got a gun for the very first time. I got the gun. But it was a ball gun, so it was not with a bola gun.
A bola gun?
Yeah, so not with the bullets, but like, to just stun enemies. So it was a lot of hours till I get a real gun. But this game is not about guns. It's about...
Good thing if you're going 12 hours before getting a bola gun. Yeah.
Actually, the name of the main character says it all. His name is Sam Porter Bridges.
Sam Porter Bridges.
Yeah. So the porter as the portier, like
carrying things.
Yeah. Bridges as he builds bridges between the states in US because the story is quite difficult, I would say, and it's going to give you a story at the beginning, but then like 10 hours no story. And then suddenly pieces of the story till the more you play, the more story you get. Like the more and longer cutscenes you're gonna get.
And what unlocks like the next section of the story? Do you have to play a certain number of hours or reach a certain point in the world? Or?
So it is United States, and you're trying to gather the humanity back. So there are only a few stations, and you need to go to these stations and connect them. So the United States is whole again. And these stations are divided into maps. So this is not actually the open world game in a way that there's one map. There's several maps. You can travel between them. And they go bigger and bigger. But there are really interesting characters. They are very memorable. And I like that in these... in Japanese game, there's a lot of concentration about very few characters. So you're gonna meet very few people in there, very few characters, but they all are very important to the story. And even their names of the other characters says like something about them, like Hartman, Fragile, or Die Hard Man.
Die Hard Man.
Yeah, this is all a strange name, but you can tell like what they are about.
Okay.
Just by the names. And talking about names, there are two main characters, I would say. You are one of them, and the actor who represents this is Norman Reedus, which is famous, for example, for
Walking Dead.
Walking Dead, thank you.
Yeah.
And then that's my favorite character, Mads Mikkelsen, which is an actor, that plays in so many movies.
Like, usually not as the main character. Usually
as a bad guy.
Yeah.
And here it looks about the same.
Okay. Spoilers.
Yeah. It's from the trailer, so there's no real spoiler.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to not have a real spoilers. So
would it be possible to have real spoilers? Like you said, the story is very confusing. Would you be able to say things that have just like ruin the experience? Okay.
Yes.
So don't do that.
Because the whole story is about not knowing how the world looks like, how the world works, and you are starting to uncover it very slowly. And I can tell you that by the end of it,
yes,
you're gonna learn about everything.
Okay,
I wasn't expecting that
was my
because
question.
usually it ends like with the open ending, but in Death Stranding, the end itself takes about 3 hours. And they're gonna uncover everything basically. And they're gonna keep something, but the main thing they're gonna uncover, they're going to get full at you. So it's a complete story. That's great.
It's not a to be continued type of story. Yeah.
But I haven't talked about gameplay yet. The gameplay is the core of this game, and it is, as some people say, a walking simulator. Even though quite soon you're gonna get cars and motorbikes. So
sooner than a gun.
Yeah, a lot sooner actually. And they are super useful. They are electrobikes and electromobiles, and not like in real world. They, if you go into the water, they run out electricity really soon. So sometimes you have to still walk. Some mountains you can get with the wheels, but they are super useful. But they are super weird on how the terrain works, because when you're walking, when you're running, there's so many rocks, so you're tripping all the time. Especially the more you carry, the more likely you are to trip. I mean, that's a great new system. It was never like in any other game, but with the vehicles it's acting really strange. It's almost like you're facing a better version, because the physics doesn't work there. And there's one thing that breaks it even more, that you can, with the wheels, you can get stuck into the terrain.
Okay.
So they made you unstuck by pushing button that will jump the car.
Okay.
But you can do it all the time, so it's almost like cheating.
So
sometimes your car is just flying somewhere.
So this was supposed to be the fix, but it kind of...
I guess so, yeah.
Okay.
It didn't work out.
So
walking is great. Riding is not that great, especially with the motorbike. Because the motorbike is lighter, so it really, like, when it jumps, it really flies. Because the physics is bad.
Okay.
Not the control. The control is good,
okay,
but the physics is bad.
All right.
And this whole game, I was surprised, it was very easy. Because they give you... They don't give you any hints, like, how to play this game. But there's nothing that can permanently kill you. Because you're gonna just... Let's say you're gonna resurrect from the checkpoint,
okay,
and you're just gonna continue going. If sometimes it's true, you have these missions when the bomb goes off. If you're going to don't be careful with the thing you're carrying. So that's the hard one, but that's like 2 times only. And if you're going to get caught in the enemy territory, they will get the crates, they will get the packages,
stuff,
and you need to uncover it again if it's a main mission.
Okay.
So that's the only thing. Except there is not only people, but there is some unknown entity that is randomly, I would say, or intelligently spreading into the world. So you don't ever know when it's going to be. But you know when you enter the territory, because you've seen in the trailers, you have this baby in the tank, and that is actually hovering this robot arm that tells you there's a danger and shows you if it's close or not and in which direction. Because it does the beep beep, and the faster the beep goes, the more it means you're close.
That's helpful.
And when you're close to this entity, you're going to suddenly see it, because otherwise it is hidden
It just
to
like
your
pops
senses.
up when you're really close to it. And
Yeah,
it's like,
yeah.
boo.
Yeah, I mean, you got the sensor, but it's kind of limited. And that is the part that is really unique as well. Because you don't know if it's an enemy or what is it, because it's a very strange entity. But again, if it gets you, you're gonna go into the special mode when you fight enemy with the gun. If you don't have a gun at the beginning, you have grenades with it doesn't have to be like frag grenade, but with your blood, so you can attack it with your blood. But suddenly it goes into the action mode, and it's an action game. Also, during the story, when you meet the Mads Mikkelsen actor, it's going to turn out into a totally different game, and suddenly action game. There are these parts that are action game, but it feels like it's a bit more like it doesn't have to be there though. It's, to me, it feels like it's forced.
It feels added,
Yeah,
like superficially.
yeah. So like this game is for everyone. There's cars, walking, shooting. There's everything for everyone. So I don't think that is necessary at all. For me, I guess it is a nice change from all the walking. But I would be happy with the walking. And of course, there are the main missions. There are discovering. But it is based on story. So if you're going outside of the story and you start to discover parts that you're not supposed to, you're going to find other bunkers that the people are inside, but you can't contact them unless the story progress.
Okay.
Yeah.
So is it single player or multiplayer?
It is a best single player. It is a best game for single players that don't like multiplayer, but the multiplayer is included.
Okay.
But in a very special way. Because,
Seems like a trick.
We don't like multiplayer a lot.
Not
so we
so
play
much.
solo.
Yeah.
But while you play solo, you never encounter anybody else but any other NPCs, yes. NPCs only actually in the bunkers, and there's like one group of other couriers that you can meet, but they are NPCs. So never a human.
Okay.
You don't encounter them, but you are in this it's basically a server. There's a bunch of people. You don't see each other, but you see he left motorbike there. He built the bridges there. So it's actually a community that doesn't interact with themselves directly, but indirectly, because you can help each other by building bridges and roads. So it's a lot easier for you. Or even you can put into the lockers weapons, something useful. It will really make it a lot easier for you. And you're gathering these resources and you can build anything with the resources. I mean, you can build weapons, you can build ladders, again, the bridges. There's a lot of... This is even another game, because this is construction game as well. Walking simulator and construction game. I didn't construct a lot, but there's so many possibilities.
Now, this multiplayer, like hidden multiplayer, how is it organized? Because there must be tens of thousands of people playing the game, but they would fill up the world with bridges. So
I think into each server, I'm not sure how many. There could be like 100 people max.
Okay, and they're all invisibly inhabiting the same world, but just of a small group of players.
But because of that, each world is different. But you really start to feel like the need to be useful for your invisible group. So even though you don't see them, you care about them. So you know that you struggled in this area, so you're gonna make it more accessible to everyone.
Would you be able to select a server and make sure that you and some friends are in the same one?
I don't think that's possible.
Okay.
automatically.
So it has to be strangers.
Maybe when you're going to start the game exact moment, maybe it's going to connect you.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Maybe.
Not sure about that. But there is so many things you can do in this game outside of everything I talk about. There's everything really in depth, because everything you can construct is really in depth, and there's not like a real RPG progression that you get skills, but you get like a kind of fame, and the more fame you get, the more you can carry, and more things you can produce, and you can produce a lot. You get like these special robotic legs that can help you go faster, or you got special claws. When you're like sliding, you can stop things. There's so many things, so many useful things, and so many useless things. Like there's such a complex world in a way of weather.
Weather.
Yeah, in like half of the game, you're gonna go to a weather station, and suddenly you have a whole map of weather, and you can plan. Like you can see where the weather brings the rain. So there's a whole weather casting system, and you can plan it, because if it rains, it's acid. So your things that you're carrying might go bad because of that.
Right.
So,
I see.
So there's a lot of things you will never use, but they are there if you want it. So you can easily spend hundreds of hours in this game. I only spend it 50.
That's what I wanted to ask. Even when you reach the end of the story, as you did, do you feel like you could still spend a lot more time in that world, just being in the world? Are there side quests? Are there like other goals that for you to achieve?
You definitely can, but after I revealed the truth about the world, I felt like it's pointless for me now. But people keep going. People want to finish the other tasks, but there's so many of them, because there's I don't know how many carriages or how many things it keeps adding up. The side quest keeps getting up. You're only getting like the fame for it, and the more upgrades, because each station, if you're gonna provide the carrying for them, they're gonna upgrade, and they're gonna give you special in this direction things. So
we started this review by me asking you, or me telling you, if you spent 50 hours on it and finished it, you must have liked it. And you said, well, it's interesting that you asked that. So maybe we could circle back to that. Mikael, did you like it?
I did like it,
okay.
But I did.
That's not so hard.
I did like it, and I would recommend it. So I think you should play it. But I am very surprised that so many people like this game. So many people bought this game, and it is such a success because it is so different from any other game. And I know that I have a very special taste for games. So sometimes I like weird games, and I feel this is one of them. I'm really surprised it is still considered a mainstream success.
Is it the weirdness? Like, would you be able to say exactly what you expected most people to dislike, but you still like?
Well, if you just look at the trailer, it's weird when you look at it. You've got a baby in the bottle, right?
And that's just the beginning,
Yeah, that's just the beginning.
So really, the
no
weird,
spoilers.
So the weirdness, you would say, you it's the kind of thing that you like, but you expected that most people would be turned off by it.
It's like kind of a high budget but indie movie.
A high budget indie game, that sounds about right.
Yeah, because the visual is beautiful, the mechanics is really deep. You can see so many hours they spend it on it, and you don't feel like you can do everything in this game. But I mean, some people want to,
And do you think that this game was a success because Kojima has like perfected his art of weirdness, or he got lucky with Death Stranding?
I think people believe in him. So just the name Kojima sells really well, And maybe it was more like me. At the beginning, I thought that's a weird game, and I'm just walking there. What's the point? But then when you get further, then you realize this is a really unique game, and you're not just playing it. You're playing it for the story, to know what's going on, and for the other people that you never met, but you somehow care for them.
And you told our viewers that you think they should play it, but are there any clues that people could look for that this is not a game for them? What type of person probably should not try to play Death Stranding?
If you played Metal Gear Solid, you didn't like it, you're probably not going to like this game.
Okay.
Because it's quite similar. It's more about stealth, so it's a stealthy game, let's say. And if you like games that are really short, or have a short cinematics,
right?
Some are really long story, everything in this game takes a long time. So if you want just a fast fun, this is not the game for you.
Seems fair.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you very much for.
Are you interested now? Tell us, based on what you heard.
That's a very good question.
Yeah.
You know, I am very intrigued, and I think that I would get into it because I like building things. I like developing a world and having some small goals and then trying to reach the next thing. I think that the mechanics would probably pull me in. So I would say, I wish that I had the time to just completely disappear into a game like this for 2 weeks or something. Yeah. But because I know how much of an investment it would take, that kind of, for where I am in my life right now, that kind of turns me off, because it's very hard for me to find the opportunity to, take, a full weekend of doing nothing but playing. So I wish that I could give it a good chance, but I'm afraid that the way that my playing habits are now, that it would be, half an hour here and an hour there, and it would be hard for me to actually get pulled into the world.
So this is actually another reason why you should probably not buying the game if you're not prepared to spend tens of hours in it. Because otherwise it won't be just worth it.
Yeah. I think, and unfortunately, because I probably would enjoy it if I could give it enough time, but that would be hard for me. So I would probably end up each time coming back to it, then thinking, now what was this about? What was I doing before? And rather than really becoming part of the world. Yeah. But maybe sometime.
Maybe.
When I retire.
Maybe when we get it for free in 2030.
Woohoo! Let's look forward to that.
Guys, this was very different review than what we're usually doing. Only that it is not free game on the Epic Game Store, but it is more casual. So let us know if this was more interesting to usual or less.
And if you made it this far into the video, thank you for being one of our top 3 followers.
Yeah. And let us know in the comments what you think about the game. We didn't talk about the director's cut that is now out. And it is really super cheap now on Epic Game Store due to the coupon. It's like 15 euros. So pretty cheap.
That's pretty good. Yeah. All right. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next video.
Okay. See you. Bye.
Bye.